Are you on an antidepressant? And maybe it was provided to you because you went to your doctor asking why you were so tired and everything presented as normal. So you were given a low level of an antidepressant. If this sounds like you, stay tuned. This episode is for you. My name is Leslie Urbis. I'm a registered dietitian and a personal trainer. And as I like to say, a recovering overachiever. And I am here today with Dr. Stacey Francis, and we are going to discuss this. So Dr. Stacey, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Of course, yeah, so great to have you. I'm excited for this conversation. So with that precursor, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Oh, okay. Well, I help women overcome exhaustion. And oftentimes they go to their doctors and they keep saying, I'm tired, I can't function, I have brain fog, I don't have clarity, I can't focus. They go to their doctor again and again. They take labs because that's what doctors do, and everything's normal. And they don't have answers for them. And oftentimes they'll offer them an antidepressant that they don't want and don't need.
Wow, that's like my heart stops because I was telling you, just like I said, I was feeling really tired last year. Now, I know it was due to my sleep schedule. I know that it was per the recommendation of my coach, who I then met in person last year. She's like, I'm not confirming or denying that I said that to you, but I would never make you lose sleep. And I was like, really? Because this was the schedule you encouraged me to do. But many of my friends had told me, like, have you considered an antidepressant? And I was like, why is this a thing? When did this become? I had no idea. So tell me, why the antidepressant, and what kind of, like, what is the rationale to connect those two things together? Lack of sleep, totally normal, so it's an antidepressant answer.
Well, you got to remember that when you're exhausted for so long, you're only running on your primal brain, which is survival.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have the capacity, you don't have the frontal brain capacity to really deal with your emotions. And sometimes that might look like depression to your friends, to your doctors. And when your labs are all normal and there's nothing else for them to help you with, and you continue to go to them and say, I don't know why I'm so tired, that is one of the avenues they use to try to help you.
Wow. Now that you say that too, I can totally relate to that feeling survival mode, but I didn't really process that either. So that's really good to know. So if somebody comes, let's say this is the situation they're in, okay? What do you help them do? How do you help them overcome this?
So the first thing we do is we do a very long history. So we're going to do the things, we're going to look at the things you know to look at. We're going to look at your schedule and how busy you are. And are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough hydration? Are you getting the core things that we know cause fatigue, right? So we're going to rule that out. And then we're going to look and see what your labs do look like. And you've got to remember that traditional labs, the ranges are really, really wide. And optimal is very narrow, somewhere in the middle, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, but it's quite narrow. And symptoms happen between optimal and falling off the edges. So if you're not falling off the edges, your doctor is not programmed to really pay attention to a problem in that arena. But we do see problems there because, and we don't just look at one number, we're looking at the trend. Are you moving over time towards optimal? You're doing something right, or away from optimal, and that's where we really need to step in and figure things out.
Wow, I love that. I say that all the time to people too. So, as a dietitian, so many people, if they get a lab, sometimes that's abnormal back, or, is this close? I kind of explain that as well. We're kind of using like the USDA measurements, right? 2,000 calorie diet and the list on the box. I'm like, this doesn't fit everybody.
Right.
So you really just can't go from that mold. So I love that. So you look at the whole picture and then make subtle changes basically within a person's lifestyle per se. If labs are off, are there certain things that you do there too? Or
Absolutely. So we mainly look at 4 different categories when we're looking at labs and fatigue. So the first one we're going to talk about is anemias. So iron anemia is one of the most prevalent and treatable deficiencies in all the world. And it's so important to pay attention to it because there's one marker doctors typically don't do, and it's the first sign of anemia, and that's a ferritin level. A ferritin level is stored iron. And that's really what we utilize for all our functions, not just the iron that's running through our bloodstream. So there's about 4 different iron markers doctors will look at traditionally, because that's what insurance pays for. But it's ferritin that when that is low, everything else can be normal, and you can be this subclinical anemic and cause huge fatigue from. And if a woman is pregnant and anemic, or let's just say low ferritin, then it's going to transfer to their children. And this is where we see ADHD symptoms, because studies have shown that you can have lack of focus, lack of concentration, and it's from low ferritin, even when the other numbers are normal. And what do we do with children? We don't go and test their blood. We don't even test their iron the traditional way. We certainly don't test ferritin. What do we do instead? We offer them Ritalin, Adderall, right? We offer them stimulants to make them behave in class. And now they're carrying girls too. We think of boys when we're thinking of hyperactivity, but girls too, they just are more well behaved. So it's under the radar, right? And so they'll carry that through their lives and not understand why they're choosing to take classes that don't challenge them, because their brain just doesn't have the oxygen that it would if they had enough ferritin, stored iron in their bodies. And then it just keeps going, right? In menopause, it gets worse with the decrease in estrogen. Those symptoms increase. So that's number 1 of 4, right? So that's a whole shebang right there.
I love it. I mean, I'm so thankful that you went into that, and agreed. I have kids, and have a lot of clients that, believe it or not, they're in the menopause age, but you'd never hear any of them actually talk about it. So it's so interesting. And I do believe that some of that's programmed, right?
Right.
Some
And
of it's
ask
programmed from
them
our
how their
parents.
brain's working. Ask them if they feel like they have lack of clarity, lack of memory, lack of focus. They feel like they suddenly have ADD, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I love this so much more than somebody going to get like a hormone level check. Not to say that it's not a thing, but like to start there. And
Right.
I literally, I have my kids in somewhat of a non-traditional school, because my son is very hyperactive. He is very all over the place. And I'm like, I'm not letting anybody ever diagnose him with this. Somebody told me you need to eventually have the diagnosis. I'm like, for what purpose? What do you
Well,
need to have a
and
diagnosis
why
for?
would you do that to someone before you had their ferritin level checked? Before,
Right.
and there are other labs, like that's just one of many, but that is a core value to look at, and it's so treatable. Like, why would you not treat it? It's
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Do you want to share the other 3, or you
yeah.
want people?
So
Okay.
yeah. So number 2 would be thyroid, right? Hypothyroid is often underdiagnosed, but not because they're clinically hypothyroid. Typically, when your doctor goes and takes your blood and you say you're tired, I promise you they're going to do a thyroid test, but they're going to do TSH and T4. And 2 other problems can occur if that doesn't show up that relates to the thyroid. Number 1, if they have a conversion problem, if they can't take T4, which is the hormone your thyroid makes, it also makes T3 in a smaller amount, but you have to convert to T3 in the bloodstream. And that is the active hormone that makes you lose weight or maintain your weight. It helps you keep from being really cold. It gives you energy and your metabolism. It's your thermostat, like all the things that this particular endocrine organ does has to be converted from T4 to T3 in the bloodstream. And if they're not looking for that, which oftentimes they do not because insurance doesn't pay for it, they're not going to find that conversion problem. Okay. Number 2 is if you have antibodies to your thyroid. In other words, you have gone on your life and might have stomach aches or gas or bloating, or you drink alcohol or sugar or caffeine, you've had a lot of antibiotics. This can cause a direct disruption in your GI system that causes something called intestinal permeability. And when that happens, it triggers the immune system, and the immune system will send out like spies to say if you should be here or not. And it often gets the thyroid confused with things like gluten and will attack the thyroid, contributing to something called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune situation to the thyroid. Now, there's not a lot of treatment for it, which is why doctors don't really look very hard to get there, or they'll leave it to endocrinologists to find it. But this is something that 40% of the population has, and it's underdiagnosed. So when we do a thyroid panel, we're always including the entire thyroid panel, not just those top two. I know that was a lot right there.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm digesting it fine, but obviously for those of you that might need to, that's why this is on YouTube. Please rewind a little bit, replay what she just said. And if you have questions, please comment below and we will gladly answer them. If I can't myself, I'll definitely tag her, Dr. Stacey, so she can answer them for you. But yeah, what's the third one?
Yeah, so the number 3 is blood sugar imbalance. So that's the most common one I see. And if you do this, then probably 90% of your fatigue will resolve, right? And that's eating a protein, 2 veggies every 3 to 4 hours in a 12-hour time period. Because blood sugar imbalance is so common, especially amongst busy women. Because we have this idea that we need to intermittent fast, so we will like try to eat as little as possible, as infrequently as possible. And your brain uses up 20% of your energy just to function. And if you can't do that, you're going to have all kinds of problems, right? When you skip meals, your frontal brain, like you go in the morning, I'm going to have chicken and broccoli. I know my plan. I'm going to do everything. When you skip meals and it goes more than 4 hours, your primal brain borrows all the energy from your frontal brain. So this shuts off, this turns on, and you are in survival mode. And your brain will say, I need glucose now. And it will reach for whatever is carbohydrate-y that you can find. Typically, donuts on the conference room table. And that will give your body enough of a, so it drives glucose into the cell, but it won't do that if you do that time and time again, because you need insulin sensitivity to allow that to happen. And sometimes you just wear down those receptors and you can't get glucose into the cell. So you're still hungry and you're exhausted, right? You don't have energy. That's what we need to do, is we need to balance blood sugar. 1 serving of protein, 2 above the ground veggies every 3 to 4 hours in a 12-hour time period. And that's in my book, The Supercharged Method. And it goes into the details on what do you do about fruit, what do you do about potatoes and all that. But if you do that, 1, you're maintaining your blood sugar level throughout the day. You're giving yourself protein, which is metabolically active fuel. It is also important for the immune system. You have the veggies for fiber and for phytonutrients to repair those insulin receptor sites. You're not snacking between meals so that your digestive system can use up all that fuel and then calm down. So you're not spiking your insulin throughout the day a million times a day. And that 12-hour fast is to clean up, finish digesting, clean up rogue cells, and so that you can start again the next day. Simple, easy, you can start today. Oh, and number 4, inflammation. Inflammation is number 4. And we look at inflammatory markers in the bloodstream that doctors typically don't do, which is CRP or C-reactive protein and homocysteine, and even ferritin, when it's too high, can be an inflammatory marker. So that's
so fabulous. Awesome. I like obviously I like all of them, and most of them I tell people about as well. I do slightly different for nutrition because I teach something called Digestion Codes, but I love what you teach in terms of really just breaking through the thought process that women always have to be fixed with something. It's interesting because I can see so much of this in my earlier life when I was not treating myself right. I remember I got into I really don't know what happened. One morning I woke up and I was over at my boyfriend's house at the time and I could not move my left side. My left side was just gone. And when I got to the hospital, it was like, well, we don't know why anything's wrong. I was in so much pain. They were giving me pain meds, whatever. They finally got the pain managed. and they were trying to figure out what happened. Nobody ever could. They did a total, I don't know, MRI, all the things, and they couldn't find anything. They found like an old fracture in my, sacral, which I have no idea how I got. But when I got the labs back, I was like, what do you mean you didn't know why I was here? My CRP was through the roof. My albumin was like 0.8. Something else was there. I was like, how does that not look like something's wrong? Something is wrong. Like, those are not normal labs. I was 26 years old. I worked out healthfully. I was at a healthy body weight. I had a job. I was like, so I didn't meet the criteria on this piece of paper. And when I think back to some of the things, I'm like, oh my goodness. And like, I had an infection in my spine when I was younger, and we still have no idea how we got that. Like, they're like, you have a compression fracture in your spine. We're just going to keep treating as normal. I'm like, no. I've never been in an accident to have a compression fracture. Something is wrong. Right. So then it took me taking the initiative to go to the ER at the hospital I worked at. And they were like, oh, you have this massive back infection. I'm like, why? Have you had any of these things? None. Like, nothing. Like, all these random things occurring. And yeah, so I back then I was active duty in the Navy, so you couldn't question as much as I can now to be like, yeah, I don't like that. That's not a reason. I don't like that either. And I know, like, and that's part of what the digestion codes is. And really what you're teaching here is like, we internally know as women. I always love the stories of the person that's like, I have cancer. And the doctors are like, you show no signs. And it's like, I don't care, then I'll go to the next one. And it's like the most remote, teeny sign that you're right. You're like in the beginning stages, glad you caught it now, and now it's all over, right? That click. I'll share this, and then I will have you share how they can reach you. But it was said best in Will Smith's book, Will. It's actually called Will. Jada Pinkett Smith, who I don't think they were married at the time. I don't remember the book, honestly. They had just finished the act, as I'll say, for purposes of social media. And Jada looked at him and goes, I'm pregnant. And he was like, babe, it doesn't happen that fast. It's not that quick. And surely enough, when she tested 2 weeks later, she was pregnant. And she was like, I told you. He's like, dang, how did you know that? She's like, I know my body. Like, that is a woman in tune with her body, her truthfully knowing, like, and I have other friends that will say that too, like, we're pregnant. Like, they would just know immediately, like, okay, we're done. I did not tell that with my daughter, but I'm pretty sure with my son, I was like, okay, we're pregnant. It's just official. And 2 weeks later, it really was. But anyways, just so you know, like, I really feel like she is going to really help you to get back in tune with your body and to know your body more, which is truthfully what we really want, is for people to bust through the lives that a doctor or somebody else has to know them the best, and that they can get to know themselves. So where can they find you? If they're interested in maybe doing a session, getting more information, where can they find you?
Absolutely. I'm all over social media, but you can find my website at specificwellness.com. And on there's a quiz so that you can take it and figure out where your fatigue is coming from. And then it gives you lots of information. And I would love for you to reach out and let me know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, of course. And all of her links will be listed below this video as well. So please feel free, or if you have questions, comments, leave them below. Again, if I can't answer them, I'll make sure to get them to her so she can come and comment as well. But thank you so much for your time. This has been so rewarding, even for myself. And yeah, I look forward to chatting with you again in the future. But for everyone else, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I hope you all have a fit and fabulous day. Bye for now.